Tanzara, our esteemed resource person, Mr. Rebecca, faculty members, and dear students. On behalf of the Human Values and Ethics Committee, I'd like to welcome you all to this important program, which is Sensitization on Rights and Duties, Human Values and Ethics. And this program is being organized for the students of Patsunga University College. The topic for tonight's webinar is Rights and Duties of Responsible Citizens as reflected in the Constitution of India. And we are very fortunate to have with us Mr. Rebecca, advocate, to speak on the topic. In fact, we are proud to say that he is also an alumni of the Patsunga University College. We are extremely grateful for his presence. So now let me invite Dr. Saitluanga, who is the Vice Chairman of Human Values and Ethics Committee, to give a welcome address.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's live webinar on Sensitization on Rights and Duties, Human Values and Ethics. We give our regards and appreciation to all the students of Geology, Commerce, Geography, and Philosophy who joined us this evening. With immense admiration and affection, we welcome our principal. Thank you, sir, for gracing our program. And on behalf of the college and the organizing committee, we warmly welcome our speaker for tonight, Mr. Rebecca, advocate, who has many years of experience in his field, and he is the right person to talk on the subject. As our host has mentioned, his topic will be Rights and Duties of Responsible Citizens as reflected in the Constitution of India. We feel delighted to have you, sir. We are certain that the program, this webinar, will be profitable, and the next few hours will be enjoyable and fruitful for everyone. I once again welcome everyone, and thank you very much. Over to our host. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Saitluanga. Tonight, we have in our midst our principal, Professor H.L. Tanzara. So I would like to invite him to deliver a short speech.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone, and good evening to our resource person tonight, who be Rebecca. Tonight, I'm very happy, and it's a great privilege for me to deliver a speech, but I'm not very much well versed in this particular topic, and it is therefore a very interesting topic for me. One thing I'd like to point out is that PUC is trying its level best to inculcate the knowledge, expertise, and experience to our students. We have around 20 different committees and more than 10 different cells and clubs. So we are trying to utilize each and every day for the benefit of the students, of our students. So all the committees and clubs are trying their level best to give whatever they can to our beloved students. So tonight also, I'm very thankful to the Human Values and Ethics Committee members for organizing this very special program. So I request all the participants, all the students to participate with your with a good attention, good interaction also, I hope, with the resource person. Therefore, it would be very beneficial for all the participants, and even for me also. I'm very thankful to our resource person and the organizers. And I wish you all the best, and I wish all this program and tomorrow night also a very grand success. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for very informative speech and for being with us tonight. Okay, now we have come to the main item of our webinar, the presentation of the topic, that is rights and duties of responsible citizens as reflected in the Constitution of India. So this presentation will be followed by an interactive session to be facilitated by Ms. Lil Tanzwali Haunar from the Department of Commerce. And I would like to request the participants and those who are viewing this program live on the college YouTube to make use of the chat box for typing in your questions during the talk. And you can ask any question which is relevant to the topic. Before we invite the resource person, let me call upon Dr. Rebecca Angol, Department of English, to introduce the speaker.
Good evening, all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce our respectful resource person. Our today's resource person is B. La Ramenga, advocate. He will be talking to us on the rights and duties of responsible citizens as reflected in the Constitution of India. He has been practicing as a lawyer for the last 16 years. At present, he is the legal advisor, cum standing counsel for RIPNS, Lai Autonomous District Council, Mizoram State Sports Council, and Mizoram Cooperative Apex Bank Limited. He lives in Jodlang, Vivacon, and he has done his MA in English and passed his LLB. And he practices mainly in the Guwahati High Court, Aizawl Bench, and district courts within the state. He has also a law firm by the name B. La Ramenga and Associates, working along with 8 juniors. So if you have any legal issues to be sorted out, you may kindly take his help and guidance. We are really honored to have you here, sir, with us today. To share your expertise in the area. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rebecca. Now I will call upon Mr. B.L. Ramenga to give his presentation. Sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible, right? Okay. I'm so grateful I would like to express my gratitude for giving me this opportunity, and especially I would like to thank our esteemed principal and esteemed professors, and particularly this Human Values and Ethics Committee for giving me this opportunity. And as we have heard about that, I have also graduated from this Pachu University College, and I'm so proud of it. I would like to say that. And I know that giving lectures on these legal issues, legal topic is not an interesting one. And it's very hard to explain in such an interesting ways also. However, I have prepared some slides, which I'll be showing it later on. So I think that will help my explanation. So it will to have a better understanding. Anyway, now I'll come to the topic, that is the rights and duties of responsible citizens as reflected in the Constitution of India, as we have just heard. And when I first look at the topic, it came to my mind that being a citizen of India, while you and I have several rights and privileges under our Constitution, we at the same time have several duties which we need to perform. And that is why we are responsible for that. So I think the topic itself speaks a lot of things. Okay, the Constitution of India, which came into force on 26 January 1950, provides the rights of its citizens, and these rights are the fundamental rights as provided under Part 3 of the Constitution of India. That is within Articles 14 to 35 of the Constitution of India. Now I'll start my slide. I'm not so tech savvy, so I hope you kindly bear with me. Okay. Okay, this is the 6 fundamental rights. Number 1 is the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. And I'll come to this one by one. Right, I'll start from the Article 14. There is the right to equality. And as we have seen in the slide, all citizens are equal before law. We have to be given equal protection of the laws, whether we are poor or disabled, etc. No person is above the law. And it means that whether a person is rich or poor, powerful or helpless, all should be equally treated under law. We may say like equal pay for equal works. And here we have seen this under Article 14, the state. What is the meaning of the state? I think it will be necessary to explain it first, because in the upcoming articles also, which I'm going to explain, then it will be repeatedly seen. The state, as it defines under Article 12 of the Constitution of India, it includes the government and the Parliament of India, the government and the legislatures of the states, all local authorities, and other authorities in India or under the control of the government of India. So I would like to explain what this state means in the Constitution. Okay, now let me come to Article 15. I'll just directly come to this one by one. Then I have to skip some articles also, which I think it may not be quite important for tonight's discussion. Then let us see this Article 15. As we have seen here, the state cannot discriminate against a citizen on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. This is necessary to bring about social equality. Every citizen of India has equal access to shops like restaurants, places of public entertainment, or in the use of wells, tanks, or roads without any discrimination. But we have to know that, however, the state can make special provisions or concessions for women and children, as stated under subclause 2 of this particular Article 15 itself. Okay, let us see Article 16. Article 16 is regarding the equal opportunity for all the citizens in matters relating to employment or appointment to any office, irrespective of the religion, race, sex, caste, place of birth, or residence. And the state cannot discriminate against anyone in the matter of public employment. All citizens can apply and become employees of the state. Merits and qualifications, however, will be the basis of the employment, as we know. And however, at the same time, there are some exceptions to this right. That is, there is a special provision for the reservation of posts for citizens who are belonging to like scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes, OBCs. Article 17 says about untouchability, abolition of untouchability, and its practice in any form is forbidden. And Article 18 also, it is abolition of titles. Like the British, during British uh, uh, times, there's the British titles like Sir, knighthood, which were given to the British loyalists during the British rule, have been abolished because they created distinctions of artificial nature. So it speaks about this Article 18 speaks about the abolition of titles. And one of the most important rights, so to say, this Article 19. We'll look into this. Article 19, it is the right to freedom. And as we have seen, right to freedom of speech and expression, to assemble peaceably and without arms, to form associations or unions or cooperative societies, to move freely throughout the territory of India, to reside and settle in any part of the territory of India, and to practice any profession or to carry on occupation, trade, or business. And while saying this, I think it will be more clear if we look at this particular table. The first column is freedom, and the second column is the reasonable restrictions. The reason why I put this reasonable restrictions column is that in order to have a better understanding, suppose we are saying that I am having a freedom of speech and expression. That doesn't mean that I can say anything, whatever I like to defame any person or to instigate the people for communal violence or which may cause any kind of defamation. So, and the clause 2 of this article 19 also says very clearly that this right which we have just seen under this column do not prevent the state to make enactments like Indian Penal Code under section 499 says about defamation, and whoever defames any other person, then he could be punished under section 500 of the Indian Penal Code. So we have to know some certain restrictions which are there under certain laws, under certain enactments. So while saying that freedom to form associations and unions, then we also have to know that we are not allowed to form any association to help terrorist activities, as I have put it here in this the right column, and freedom to assemble peacefully and without arms, but it should be peaceful, and the participants should not carry any weapon. Okay, freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India, and then the restrictions are there on the movement of a person or group to prevent the spread of violence, free to reside and settle in any part of India. However, we may not be allowed to reside too close to aerodrome, and although we have freedom to practice any occupation, trade or business, but I'm not allowed to run trades like gambling, prostitution, selling of narcotic drugs. Suppose I'm selling narcotic drugs, heroin or any other uh, illegal drugs, then I should be booked under narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Then I could be punished, like by giving me imprisonment for more than 10 years or to the extent of life imprisonment. So there are certain restrictions which I would like to talk about while saying that I have and we are having this kind of freedom. Okay. Article 20. Article 20 is while looking at this slide, I will not read this what is written in this slide, but I'll try to explain it. Clause 1 of this Article 20 prohibits the application of laws both retrospectively and prospectively. Like in simple words, when the legislature declares an act to be an offense or provides a penalty for an offense, it cannot make the law retrospective so as to affect the individuals who have committed the act before the enactment of that law. So that is what this clause 1 of this Article 20 says. And it also says that any person who is convicted for a crime being committed should not receive penalty greater than what is provided in the law in force at the time of the act of the offense. Like for an example, I was convicted under section 379 of the Indian Penal Code for committing theft. Then I should not be given the punishment of imprisonment, which is greater than 3 years, because the imprisonment under section 379 IPC cannot be more than 3 years. So I should not be given penalty which is greater than like it should be imposed as per law. Okay, clause 2 of this Article 20 means that if somebody commits an offense, then that person cannot be prosecuted or punished for that particular offense for more than once. It safeguards the accused from facing multiple punishments or successive criminal proceedings for the same criminal offense. And this clause 3, I think this clause 3 itself is clear, so it may not be necessary to explain it. No person accused of any offense shall be compelled to be witness against himself. No one who is accused of any crime, of committing any offense, cannot be compelled to to say anything against himself. Okay, and now I'll come to this Article 21. It is regarding right to life and right to personal liberty. And right to life is, yes, undoubtedly the most fundamental of all the rights. Life in Article 21 of the Constitution is not merely the physical act of breathing, it has much wider sense, like including the right to live with human dignity, the right to live livelihood, right to health, right to pollution-free air, etc. And the right to life is fundamental to our very existence, without which we cannot live as human beings. And it includes all those aspects of life which make a man's life meaningful, complete, and worth living. And the Supreme Court had also held that the right to life includes the right to live, lead a healthy life, to enjoy all faculties of the human body in their prime conditions. And the right to life includes, as I have said, the right to live with human dignity and decency. And the right to personal liberty in the Indian Constitution is the right of an individual to be free from restrictions or encroachments on his persons, whether they are directly imposed or indirectly brought about by calculated measures. And I have right to do whatever I like, but that should not be in contravention with any other law. And I can also travel to any place, but it should be within the ambit of the established procedures of law. I would like to explain in that way. And I'll skip this Article 21, but I'll just mention it that it pertains to the state who shall provide free and compulsory education to all cities, all children of the age of 6 to 14 years, in such manner as the state may by law determine. And Article 22, Article 22, it will be important to all of us. Then we may not know what will happen in future. Maybe I could be arrested, and you may also face some problems. Maybe police may also arrest you someday. Who knows? Then we can face that kind of situation. So while looking at this, okay, I think I will read this first so that I'll just expand it. No person who is arrested shall be detained in custody without being informed, as soon as may be, of the grounds for such arrest, nor he be denied the right to consult and to be defended by a legal practitioner of his choice. Every person who is arrested and detained in custody shall be produced before the nearest magistrate within a period of 24 hours of such arrest, excluding the time necessary for the journey from the place of arrest to the court of the magistrate, and no such person shall be detained in custody beyond the said period without the authority of a magistrate. And while saying this, I would like to point out what the Criminal Procedure Code also says about this, because it also what the provisions that I'm going to highlight had been emanated from this particular Article 22 itself only. So to make the picture more clear, and what have been discussed in this Article 22 is compromised with Chapter 5 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, which says about the procedures to be followed by the police and other arresting officers while making arrest against any person. Okay, Section 41 BCRPC says that when any person is arrested, a memorandum of arrest should be prepared by the police. Memorandum of arrest, which shall be attested by at least one witness who is a member of the family of the person being arrested, or respectable member of the locality where the arrest is made. And that memorandum of arrest, should also be countersigned by the accused person. Suppose I'm arrested by one police officer, then I should be given opportunity to uh, like to inform my other relatives or any of my close friends about my arrest. So that is the duty of the police officer. Then this memorandum of arrest should be given to me, and my signature has to be obtained in that memorandum of arrest. Okay, then section 46 CRPC also says that no woman shall be arrested after sunset and before sunrise. So it is also quite important, particularly for a woman, to know this right. After sunset and before sunrise, no woman should be arrested. But where such exceptional circumstances exist, then the woman police officer, that is, I'll repeat, woman police officer, by making a written report, obtained prior permission of the judicial magistrate of the first class within whose local jurisdiction the offense is committed or the arrest is to be made, then unless that prior permission of the judicial magistrate first class is obtained by the woman police officer, then after sunset and before sunrise, no woman should be arrested. Okay. Now, section 49 of CRPC also says that the person arrested shall not be subjected to more restraint than is necessary to prevent his escape. This means that if handcuffing of the arrested person would prevent him from escaping from the police custody, then it would not be necessary to tie him with a rope tightly, because that would be unnecessary. That is what section 49 CRPC says. I think it is compromised with what this article 22. Now I'm expanding, as I have said. I'm elaborating it. Okay, section 50 CRPC also says that if we are arrested by a police officer, then I have to be informed the full particulars of the offense for which I am arrested, and other grounds for such arrest also I have to be informed. And where a police officer arrests without any warrant, warrant means without the prior permission of the judicial magistrate or any other authority, and if I'm arrested without any warrant and the offense for which I'm arrested is also a bailable offense, then I have to be informed by the police officer that I'm entitled to be released on bail immediately. And the police officer may also arrange for the sureties. Sureties means any other person who may undertake that in the event of enlargement of bail, then he will know my whereabouts, and he will also be able to produce me before the court, like that. That is the meaning of sureties, and that can be also arranged by the police officer. Okay, and section 57 CRPC also says that no police officer shall detain the accused in custody for more than to exceed 24 hours from the time of his arrest, but that will be exclusive of the time necessary for the journey from the place of arrest to the magistrate's court. Okay, I'll just stopped with that regarding this article 22. And article 24, I'll come to this, but I'll just read this part. I'll not explain this particular article 24. It says that no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or mine or engage in any other hazardous employment. And next, I'll come to article 29. As you have seen here, any section of the citizens residing in the territory of India or any part thereof having a distinct language, script, or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. And clause 2 says that no citizen shall be denied admission into any educational institution maintained by the state or receiving aid out of state funds on grounds only of religion, race, caste, language, or any of them. And I'll come to article 32. Article 32 says, as we have seen here, we have the right to invoke the power of the Supreme Court by filing writ petition. And these writ petitions are in the nature of this habeas corpus here, as we have seen, as we are looking at this slide. Writ petitions are mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto, and certiorari. And if there is any violation of rights, our fundamental rights, and we can directly approach the Supreme Court under Article 32 by invoking its power for the enforcement of our fundamental right. Okay, I'll just conclude with that regarding this particular Article 32. And before coming to this Article 300A of the Constitution, I would like to point out that Article 359, subclause 1 of the Constitution of India says that where an emergency is proclaimed by the President of India, the right to move any court for the enforcement of the fundamental rights shall remain suspended for the period during which the proclamation is in force, or for such period, shorter period as may be specified in the order, in such order as proclaimed by the President. But here, what we have to know is that while all the other fundamental rights are suspended during emergency period, but except Article 20 and 21. Article 21, right to life, as we have seen it, as we have just discussed, this is quite important and it should not be suspended even in the emergency period. So that is what I would like to add that point. And now, although this Article 300A of the Constitution of India is not within the purview of these fundamental rights, but this is also the right which is also very important that we have to know. It says that no person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of law. See, the right to property was earlier included in one of the fundamental rights. However, the 44th Amendment Act 1978 of the Constitution of India, this article was inserted as Article 300A of the Constitution of India as the right to property. This means that our property cannot be taken away except in accordance with law. For example, I have a land and it is to be destroyed by the construction of road, which is one of the big projects of the state government. And in that case, I should be given an adequate amount of compensation by the state government by way of acquisition or otherwise as the law provides so. So this is what this Article 300A of the Constitution means. Okay, that is the first topic regarding the fundamental rights. Now I will come to the second part of the topic, that is, which is the fundamental duties. And before I saw in the slide what are these fundamental duties, I would like to explain that after we have discussed about our rights, we have also to know that it is not enough to know only our rights, but it is also required for us what duties we have to perform for our country. See, it would be necessary to know that in return for every right, the society expects the citizens to do certain things which are collectively known as duties. And the original constitution being enforced on 26 January 1950 did not mention anything about the duties of the citizen. However, thereafter, the fundamental duties were added in Part 4 of the Constitution of India under Article 51A in the year 1976 through the 42nd Constitutional Amendment. And see, whereas fundamental rights are justiciable, the fundamental duties are non-justiciable. That means that the violation of the fundamental duties, there is non-performance of these duties by the citizens, is not punishable under law. However, at the same time, that doesn't mean that we do not have any obligations to comply with these fundamental duties. Okay, now I'll come to the fundamental duties. What are the points as provided under Constitution of India? I'll just read this. These are the fundamental duties as provided under Article 51A of the Constitution of India. Number one is to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag, national anthem. Whenever we sing national anthem, we used to stand up to show respect. Then it is also our duty to participate in the election by casting our votes at the time of election. And number two, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Number three is to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. And number four is to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do. And number five, to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood among all the people of India, and to renounce and to abandon practices which are insulting to the dignity of a woman. Number six is to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. And number seven is to protect and improve the natural environments, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife. It is quite important to know that in the state of Mizoram itself, then we used to do hunting which toward the life of the wildlife. Then this kind of illegal actions can be uh, uh, prosecuted, and those who are doing hunting also, they can be arrested under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. And I think the forest departments are also taking steps in that regard. Okay, number eight is to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. And next point is to safeguard public property and not to use violence. And number 10, to serve towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity. And the last point is that a parent or guardian has to provide opportunities for the education of his ward child between the age of 6 and 14 years. Okay, I think it may not be necessary to explain or elaborate these fundamental duties. And I think I have spent a lot of time because the discussion and the other program will follow later on. So now, lastly, I would like to say again that we, being the citizen of India, cannot run away from such fundamental duties which we have just mentioned. And in this regard, I may quote what Mahatma Gandhi said. He said that begin with duties of a man and rights will follow as spring follows winter. And with this, I may conclude my speech tonight. Thank you to all of you. I know that it may not be interesting, but I'm so grateful to you, all of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bilaram Enga, for clearly explaining the rights and duties of citizens of India to us. We may be familiar with the rights and duties before, but the way you are explaining, it's really good. I'm sure all the participants are also now clear about the rights and duties. Now we will move on to the discussion session. Let me call upon Ms. Tanzara Haunar to facilitate the session. Ms. Wali.
Yes, thank you, Professor Rinpari, and thank you, Mr. Laram Enga, for that enlightening session we just had. Like our host has just mentioned, it was very interesting. Although you said it might not be interesting, it is indeed very interesting because you reminded us in a very simple way and with simple concepts, the fundamental rights and duties every citizen of this great nation has. Some of them we take, we've been taking them for granted for so long. Them, as we see in the news, some rights and duties actually know that we have these rights and even the duty. We only focus on the citizens, we neglect duties as well. So thank you so much for reminding us of these important points. Now, as our audience, our students, I'd the space for the students to answer any, have any question. If they have any question, I'll open up time for them to ask. If anyone has any question, I'll time. All right, since it has not come up now, I have two questions from some students that has been personally messaged to me. So I'll just give the first one now. 1 second. All right. Article 21 provides to life. And done recently concerning, abortion. What kind of right does a person has in India to abortion? Can you tell us that?
Is your voice is not was not audible. That it was breaking. So
So sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me just repeat.
right.
Article 21 provides for the right to life.
Yes.
What have the Constitution taken in regards to abortion? What are the, does a person has a right to abortion, or is it not allowed in India?
All right. As we have seen, although we are saying that we have such kind of fundamental rights, and however, at the same time, there are certain restrictions regarding abortion also. So, although we have been saying that there we have this kind of several fundamental rights, but what have been restricted by the other laws, like as we have seen in the IPC also, then it is, if it is prohibited, then we cannot enforce the right, like just by saying that I have the right to life and I have the right to do this and that. So I think that will answer my question.
All right. Thank you.
Other the question.
And another question that has come up, am I? All right.
Yes, but it's sometimes breaking.
Yes, Zoli, your voice is breaking sometimes.
Sorry. Internet connection is quite good right now. I don't know why. All right. I audible like this?
Yeah, it's better like that. Yes.
All right. All right. Another question that has come up is that social media is a powerful means of exercising one's freedom of speech. What are the duties of a responsible citizen in respect to social media?
Okay. Then certain duties could be there, might be there, but I think one of them is that we have to know how to use it, like with cautiously, so to say, because if we make a post of whatever we like, then suppose there is a very sensitive issue in, for an example, within the state of Mizoram, then or in Aizawl itself, then that particular issue, although we have the right to freedom of expression and we have to express, we can express whatever comes to our mind, but we have to know at the same time that what impact our expression and that the post that we are going to make or any thing we have to say can cause, what impact can be there. So then the duties that we have to make is that we have to use all this kind of social media with special, how to say, with by knowing what consequence it can cause to any person or uh, uh, to uh, to us, so that we may face some problem, like regarding defamation also can happen to us, and we may also be booked under some Indian Penal Code some particular sections also. So we have to know how to use it carefully, and otherwise that can give us lots of troubles. So that the main thing, the main duty that we have to perform is that to use it with care and attention. I think that is how I can explain. Maybe some other reasons might also be there. And Miss, that I'll come to that. The first question, I think that is particularly abortion is also, it particularly says under section 312 of the Indian Penal Code, like whoever voluntarily causes a woman with child to miscarry, then it can be punished under law. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. That was very enlightening. Another question has come from a student. If Sir can expand IPC 375 and why men can't be the victims from its definition. If Sir can expand IPC 375 and why men can't be the victims from its definition.
Because this, okay, there's some questions are, okay, it comes from the corners, like against which I don't have any preparation, but anyway, I'll try to like answer it as possible as I can. This sections 375, there is rape under Indian Penal Code. The rape definition also only particularly says that a man is said to commit rape. A man is said to commit rape if he did this thing so and so. Then I'll not mention any in detail. Then that is why when the at the time of like enactment of this Indian Penal Code, it since it says only a man is said to commit rape if he does this thing and that, then it cannot fall. The rape is pertaining to that rape as it is defined under 375 only. Now, then the question is, I think it pertains to section 377, that is unnatural offenses. I think it may fall under this.
Okay.
Maybe I do not, I'm not explaining it clearly, or I don't know whether it is understood.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another question has just come in.
Okay.
Why are women forced to abide by such laws in which they cannot take charge of their bodies? Is it pro-life or oppression of one's own women liberty and freedom? Why are women forced to abide by such laws in which they cannot take charge of their bodies? Is it pro-life or oppression of one's own liberty and freedom?
If the question, if it can be simplified, sorry,
it's as it's given by the student. I believe what she means, what the person who's given the question means is that why is a woman not allowed to take charge of her own body? I guess it's regarding to, again, abortion, I think. Is it pro-life or is it oppression of a woman's liberty and freedom? Could it be pro-life or is it an oppression of a woman's liberty and freedom? You know?
As of now, I think it's difficult for me to answer this question. So I hope you understand.
All right.
1 minute. Sir, it's okay if you could explain it in Mizo to make it more clearer.
All right. Even the question also.
Yes.
Aron Zodana, Aril Gana Karin to abortion, hemi article 21 in a right to life at Ivanga, pro-life ani ange meitia ina a right ti chep na zok ani theyangem ati ni chu a question chu mo abortion phallo lo ni ta se kha mi article 21 in a right to life ati den chen nge ninga ame che freedom ka nek chep na ani thei bok ngem ina chu nang ma ngai dana enge ni ang hei chung changa chan western world apo yan mi chu an khel na sa ti kan chia kan han chia china for like right to one's own body te kan antia abortion hi chu ame cha thu ani ti te a om china khanga khanin enge ingai dan enge le India ina hemi ati tumna hian me che nek chep na kher chu ani chu kan ring cha lo ke chu enge nangin ingai dan
yeah a legislative intent te hi chu enge vat fiat lo hi chu an soi thui chu hara amaro chu me che nek chep na kher chu ani done munile chu ka te ke mangai dan ha chuan achan chu han te han soi thui tur po tuna me chuan in han soi han elaborate tu chuan ka che lo na in point 10 khati chu han ngai tu ngal me han chan har sa te hi om ve de le ke ti me yang kan lo in prepare lo na le kan lo eng lo na kan lo ngai tu chen lo na zong ani hi chuan in chuan chuan tu na mi ka chu ka chang thui lo me nga khati khanin ke ma idea le ke ma ngai dan te chu toy de win ka soi me nge okay
Sir.
Okay. Yes.
Imo, I was the one who was asking that question.
Right.
I could not explain my question further. It seems so passive aggressive, but
Right.
my intent truly was that if I'm a student, so I don't think I will want to kill that person inside of me. I don't think I would want to kill that person. Personally, I don't, but hey, we know about how much pregnancy can affect a woman's life. Ama na ko nga te ama zirlai ko nga te it could abolish everything katyang nga kan may chia ina katyang nga kanin hey katum ma mo katyang ani kan I'm not ready to be a mother. I have to focus on this and that. Ama morality kan, ama career, ama future zok a focus kan. Sartinge why must only the woman be punished for that? Katinge aray to mi papo kan consequence apay ve mi why only the woman? Kati that's just that.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Kangai dana chuan adika isoi chu tuna khami wanga a situation a zira ina a compel tlat thil te ni te chuan le tuna hey eta IPC te chuan asoi ani meya ama se heta asoi dan chuan whoever before the birth of any child does any act with intention of thereby preventing the child from being born alive or causing it to die after its birth ini.
Yes,
so
sir.
chuan ami palam pangapo chuan lo ni se itlatura nor tu te po lo ni te chuan le maybe he will be included within the purview of this definition.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Chuan up panis the thotura chuan ngai te la amaro chu isoi anga a situation ina a compel awanga lo the lowa abortion lo ti ngai te chu alo omani chuan lekha ka chu a kong chu dangin ka hria achan chu hela hiana soi chu with an intention of thereby preventing the child intention ti po kha ei dan hi chu ei a interpretation hi azawin a changin azimin azaw the tho tani ti meyang so chuan the way we interpret the definition and the particular section also it like enge thil tam takha asoi ve the ni chu chuan kami is situation ina azir lo wal mo po le maybe you are not ready to be mother kami apo nang mai na enge decision ni lo siam kha dan mang chuanin rem theina turzon chuan rem theina light po om mana amaro chu hemi wang hi enge a mens ria kana ti thina soizau tela criminal case anga te chuan mens ria om je chu the intention to do something ani tani kha mens ria kha atira tanga criminal intention alone to chuan chu criminal case anga te chuan kha enge punishment pegnan po alo alone ni trina amero chu comments ri ka if that is not that criminal intention from the very beginning, then you might be saved by law chu chu ka ngai dan chu ni tin chu ba ka nia aru karal han ti lai te ka thu rana nia engem bo publica expose le thil riat lo ni chu thil tam tak po thlenga ka chu it's a different matter mi anin remvek ngai chung lo ma se tu na ka soyang khan izo na zo na chuanin khalai te kha nge ka ngai dan ke ma mi mal ngai dan dewa chuan ani dan atanga han sir tel point ka chang fel chi em chu ka hrelowa
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
you're most welcome.
Thank you. Zona dang hi a to chia lo ani mela oh hey question pakhat dang aron lut le another question. Considering the amount of data and reports we've had on underreported sexual assaults and women's domestic abuse, can you give comments and expand on the implications behind that for the victim, perpetrators, and the holders of authority, within brackets, police?
Okay. See, yes, as we have just heard, it's sexual assault cases, several sexual assault cases, particularly these amongst these minors. These minor girls, particularly, then there is a protection of sexual offenses against the children. That POCSO Act is there, and it protects particularly those minor children. But in spite of that, maybe there are several cases which are unreported. Maybe, yes, although I haven't seen the data collected so far, and in that case, it yes, definitely, and it results to like several complications and several difficulties to those minor children also. And then see, if it is unreported, that there is a chance for committing the offense again and again. It's not that. So that is what we don't like it, and that should not happen to these helpless children also. Hey, think la te pe chu ani ti me yang til tam taka in kan hey an lo nge no pang te po an lo kal me me an lo leng chok me khatianga pokan case tam tak om na te po hi anin ka ria he kho puizo ka te chuan le ina ten la tom de uzo ka khatiang thil tam tak khanin unreported thi cho om ti hi chi chianga azo na kha ka soifu ka ron soifu mo ka re chi lo na khatiang de khang ka lo riat dan ani chuwan chuan hetiang case hi case tam tak tu na case om hi chu aron lan chua hi hey anua chu tiang kha tiang engamo no pangin asoi chuaka chu tiang hun chance rem chang ti meyang kami soi chuak lo thelo ina a kompel lawang te po soi chua nuwa soi chuaka ti deu te kha ani chok me chu wan chuan in unreported cases chu tam tak chu om karing chu wan chuan heng te hi apo ye me no pang ril ru le than len chho na thlengin thil hong tam tak thalo thlengin alangani ti kha kan soi the chu ni ome
alo om lutuk kan hlok pui khop me kha kan student te po in zona an ron nei no la kan lom lutuk host ne na hun kan pele le to mi.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tanzoli Haunar, for facilitating a wonderful discussion session. Although some of the points discussed were out of our topic, but still very relevant cases. Thank you very much also to all the participants who asked questions. It was a very enlightening discussion session. Now, before we end our session, let me invite Dr. Nalini Devi to give some concluding comments and also to say a vote of thanks.
that my net is not good. It's okay. Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizing committee for giving me the opportunity to give the concluding remark. And respected speaker, Rebecca Angol advocate, thank you, sir, for your wonderful and thought-provoking speech regarding rights and duties of responsible citizens as reflected in the Constitution of India. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank to our respected principal for giving us the opportunity to organize this webinar. And I would like to thank Dr. Saitlunga, President of Human Values and Ethics, UC. And I would like to thank the convener of this webinar, Professor Rinpari Ralte, and that organizing secretary, Lalming Moi. I would like to thank the IT committee of our college for giving us a platform for this webinar successful. And I'd like to thank all the members of Human Values Ethics Achunga University College. Last but not least, all the participants of this webinar, student of theology, commerce, geography, and philosophy. Even the interactive session is also very interesting. I think we got lots of benefit from this webinar. And at the end, I want to give my concluding remark regarding this webinar. Sir, our resource person, explained in a very brief way, that regarding the responsible citizen, what are the rights, fundamental rights we need to remember. If we know that the rights, our rights, but we need to remember all that fundamental rights we have under the Indian Constitution. So, sir, briefly explain about the Article 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Under the Article 19, we have some fundamental rights. Beside that, we have, means under the law, we have some restrictions also regarding the right. And Article 20, 21, 22, 24, 29, and 32, we already, sir already give a brief discussion about this. And beside this, Article 300A, this is also very important, means as a citizen of India or as a person, we stay in any country or any place, at the time we have some rights. Mainly in India, no person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of law. This is given by that Article 300A. And beside this fundamental rights, we have different duties also. As a citizen of India, we need to perform our duties well. So here, under Article 51A, sir briefly explain about these duties, different duties. We need to respect our national flag, anthem, then we need to participate in the struggle of freedom. Then we have the right, we have duty for unity and integrity. Regarding the harmony also, we have our duty, and we need to preserve our heritage like forests, lake, rivers, etc. And regarding that, even we have a very we need to do our duty well about the safeguard of that public property. So beside the different fundamental rights we have, and we need to perform our duties well as a good citizen of the country. So at the end, I want to thank all the participants as well as the organizing committee, the resource person, and all for that's today's webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Nalini Devi. We will end our session for tonight. I would just like to remind all of us to try and follow the important rights and duties which has been explained for us tonight. And let us also remember that rights and duties complement one another. For every right, there is a corresponding duty to fulfill. And so if we are for example, if we are given the right to life by our constitution, it is our duty not to expose our life to dangers, and it is our duty to respect the life of others. So with this, we will end our session, and we hope to see you again tomorrow, same time, and the link will be shared again. You can also join the live stream on PUC official YouTube channel. The topic for tomorrow's session is on human values and ethics, and the speaker is Ms. Gracie L. Boitlung, MJS. Thank you all once again.